I heard Palpatine.
I heard Palpatine, and I'm like,
no,
man.
Palpatine. When
Those
Snoke is
replacing you on
like force
Cantina.
choking or force breaking Rey, you can hear Emperor's theme.
You're not roping me into a fucking cantina, are you?
No, I said you're gonna replace him. If he thinks the Emperor's name is Palpatine,
You didn't know that Jocasta knew was a Jedi, so...
that's not in the movies though. I always say,
What that
can't throw that at me. I'm a movies guy. Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll eat this as quietly and just start there. Not eat all day.
Is that just a regular croissant?
Yeah.
I had one this morning. They're so good.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 233rd episode of the GeekVerse podcast. My name
What's your name?
is a very mad Travis now who maybe has to buy a TV next week.
For intentionally broken TV.
Yeah.
They didn't drop the Spider-Man trailer, so Travis went on a rage.
Taylor just
Smashed
kicked it. He's like, look at my Jedi moves. I'm Palpatine.
Palpatine.
I'm joined by...
The Adam Arcasper Thomas.
I am the Oxygen's low Taylor Field.
Okay, not.
There's a lot of oxygen in here. We don't torture our casters
No, not today.
that much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't watch the last or listen to the last episode, we divided.
Go on, look at that.
Was it perfectly landed?
It was
You can
perfect.
take a quick look before it goes away. But
Oh,
we
yeah.
divided the video game and movie news separately this week just because they're bigger topics. Obviously, Video Game Awards, we did a full breakdown there. Marvel Ultimate Alliance talked about Outer Worlds, Crashing Racing, so go listen to that. But this is big. This needs its own specific cast. So we are going to be talking about Marvel in general. We got the Avengers Endgame, which is weird to say. It's not Avengers 4 Endgame trailer. I'm not used to it. Captain Marvel trailer and some spicy Spider-Man details that have just dropped.
Oh.
So I'm excited to talk about them. So yeah.
Can we start with the Spider-Man details?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to start with them?
Let's hook the fans in.
You don't think the fans?
Me and Taylor don't know what this is. It dropped just now. I'm assuming.
Was it Jake
Okay,
Gyllenhaal
so
finally
they're
was
at-
not
Is
Spider-Man?
it Jigsaw Jameson?
I think it's Brazil Comic Con they're at. There's some Comic Con that's happening right now. They've seen the trailer. That's where that
There's a
stealth
Brazil
suit
Comic-Con?
got released. People have seen images of Mysterio. They say it looks great, but they're all watermarked, so they can't release them. So, got some story details on Spider-Man Far From Home. So yeah, we're starting with this one. So buckle up, kids. It sounds like this is from SuperBroMovies.com. I follow them; they're pretty good.
Consistent.
It sounds like Far From Home is exactly what we most were expecting. According to Tom Holland, the movie will follow Spider-Man and Mysterio as a team to take on the elements, the Elementals. The Elementals are a team of bad guys or organizations who all their powers are the elements. So,
Okay.
yeah. It was assumed Mysterio appears as the main antagonist. Holland went to describe Peter and Quentin Beck's relationship as brothers on arms. And then, to follow this up, Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury, where is it? Blah, blah, blah. It was revealed that at some point in the past, Quentin Beck / Mysterio has been working for or with Nick Fury. It's unclear how long he's been in the MCU, but it's clear the film will give him a rich backstory that will interconnect with the larger universe. And then this was speculation, but I kind of agree with this. It's possible that Quentin Beck is plays more as an anti-hero at the beginning of the film, but maybe a big bad later on. So, not the approach I was expecting, them being a team in this movie. It's going to be Mysterio and Spider-Man teaming up. I like it. It makes a lot of sense now they got Gyllenhaal, because if they are going to go for an anti-hero, almost like a second lead, like I thought he would be a good Mysterio anyways, but if you had a kind of frenemy in there, he makes sense. So, I'm wondering if this happens in this film when he becomes the bad guy, or if it's set up for a next film to be the bad guy, and it's kind of a breaking up. But that means maybe Quentin Beck, this is going to be a different origin, I feel, that maybe he's been working with S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while. Maybe he is not magical, but maybe he's a bit more powerful than just his hollow cubes as far as throwing stuff. Like maybe some of that stuff is actual real. I'm not sure, but
Interesting. That's
exciting. Yeah, people have said that the costume looks the same, but yeah, what do you think about them teaming up instead of him being the main bad guy?
not what I was expecting you to say just now. But I'm interested. I don't know the elementals of that storyline, so that's interesting. But
I'm very sparse.
And I haven't seen this side of Mysterio, so I'm really curious for this. And yeah, what are they going to do? Are they going to set this up for him, to be a villain in another movie? Or are they setting this up that he's kind of like, more on the good side and teaming up, maybe helping out when the Avengers or something needs some magic later on? But I think that actually is kind of smart, at least if you look at how villains have used it, I should say, in the MCU previously. Usually they're kind of a one-off, with the exception of Loki. But I guess yeah, maybe it's similar to a Loki approach. Obviously, he started fully bad and is kind of
Maybe he'll be
reversed.
flipped. Yeah, he'll be kind of good, and now he's gonna be fully bad. Oh.
But either way, I think it's Gyllenhaal is obviously huge, and Mysterio has a lot of possibility to be really fun. So this makes me hopeful and almost like guarantees, I feel, that we're going to see him in more than one movie. So that makes me really excited. I love Mysterio and I love Jake Gyllenhaal. So this making me, just knowing that he'll be around the MCU and not just in one movie is, oh man, I'm excited. That's cool. Good news.
I feel like this is a great way to, like you were saying, like shake it up from, your typical villain kind of thing. And I feel like it's a great way to bring in Mysterio. I'll never forget just how great, those Mysterio missions were back in Spider-Man 2 and that whole boss battle with him. Like, I can't wait to see what.
That I get flashbacks to that. Because it's really good. In that first game, they set him up big time, and then you just one punch him, and it's done. And then he comes back again later. But it's Mysterio's always great.
Yeah, I really like. Honestly, I don't know super much about him, just from my experience playing like the old Spider-Man 2 game, and that's just what that's what made me fall in love with him like as a character. And I think I've always wondered like why isn't he ever in like a Spider-Man movie? And because he seems to be very popular because other people really liked him. So I'm glad that he's finally getting in the spotlight now, and very cool to have him as a hero. I can't remember, but in the game and in the comics, he knows who Peter was.
No.
Oh, he doesn't. So I'm assuming
there's some comic book, but
in this, then he does know who Peter is because they're a team.
I imagine, because this is the other thing I forgot to mention. I was trying to find it, but I closed it. Nick Fury recruits Peter. He's on a school field trip, and here we go. During his trip to Venice, Nick Fury recruits him to defeat a villain group. Describe one made of stone, one made of water, the elements. So it looks like Nick Fury goes and hijacks.
One made of stone. We got Korg coming back too.
Oh yeah. So Nick Fury hijacks Peter's vacation with the school. He brings him along, and I guess I'm interested to see what happens after Endgame to see why is he the one that they would go bring in, because I feel like a copious amount of Avengers you could bring in, and why is he gonna be paired with Quinn and Beck? But this is the other thing. It feels like S.H.I.E.L.D. they've confirmed, we knew this for a while, but Nick Fury and Marie Hill's in this, so S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gonna have a big part of that. It probably has to do with why he has that stealth suit and whatnot. Like they're supplying him all these duds because Tony Stark's dead.
Well, we know Nick Fury's unsnapped.
And Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Dan, I want to ask you this because you watched the TV show. How do you feel? Because my biggest worry, if Nick Fury getting close to Spider-Man in these movies, I do not want Peter Parker as being the Russian spies, Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. Storyline happening. And anytime Nick Fury is close to Spider-Man, I worry that's going to happen. So, do you think there's a chance to happen, and how do you feel about that? Because also there's a new element you were introduced to, and that has happened in the comics where, Peter Parkers were actually spies, and their death was faked, and is a whole, kind of Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? Where it's something's up with Peter's parents, they're not just regular parents.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's something that I'm not opposed to it from a Spider-Man point of view, but I think it can be annoying in a lot of movies and just a lot of media in general, using this storyline later of just bringing parents in and making that just instantly have some emotional ties to the characters. But if it's something that you haven't set up, then it can kind of just feel tacked on, and that's been done a lot before. So I don't know, if it's done well, I'm fine with it. I'm not just opposed to that storyline in general. I've only really seen it at one time, and it was kind of just in the animated show, something they quickly talked about. Wasn't something that ever came up again after. So I don't know. I'm not opposed to it, but obviously they've already taken a little bit different route with the origin story of this Spider-Man, because we have no idea what's up with Uncle Ben. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'd like to hear from Uncle Ben before the Counter Spy parents, personally.
Yeah, I need
But
Ben action.
I don't know. I'm not opposed to it if they go down that route.
So Gyllenhaal adds that Mysterio is very knowledgeable of them, the Elementals, and aims to take them down to make the world a safer place. So yeah, he could kind of have that complex of, he takes them down, but maybe, I take down, Cap, because it could be safer, this, that. So it seems like he has some good motivations. 2 potential romances, or some romantic storylines, have been confirmed. We kind of knew this, but Michelle or MJ Peter Parker, that's going to be a thing in this movie.
Expected.
And the other one is a romance between Aunt May and Happy Hogan.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow, Happy sneaking in there. Fuck you, Tony. This is mine.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a thing.
Wow.
That's fun.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Wasn't
I love Happy.
Pepper Potts supposed to be in this too, right? Like quite a bit.
No, I think it's Pepper's gonna be in it, but
Oh, I thought
because he's gonna go talk to her after Tony's died and be like, hey.
You really think Tony's gonna die too? On top
I
of
just
Captain?
I just did this the entire year build up to Loki. I just forced it. I was just like, oh yeah, when Loki dies, it's gonna happen. So now I'm just gonna keep saying this, and
That'll be okay.
we'll transition. Let's talk about that. That's Spider-Man news exciting. I'm just very excited because, we did not see that coming at all. A team up,
No.
so that gets me excited to see what they're gonna do, and that also gets me excited because Gyllenhaal, maybe this is gonna be him sticking around more. And
Yes,
I think
exactly.
and Mysterio sticking around more, and I'm excited that fans, everyone at the Comic-Con said the costume looks great, so I can't wait to see that first picture of the fishbowl.
The
And
fishbowl.
like, why in the movie with Nick Fury, like, how do they explain why does he have this costume, Like, it's so out there, like, yeah, before when he's like a magician or effects guy, you could understand, but if he's just working with S.H.I.E.L.D., why are they like, why is this guy looking like eyes on a cape, and like, I don't know, but I'm excited. Maybe he'll have a pre-S.H.I.E.L.D. costume, and then when he's still a bad guy, maybe he'll be like...
I could picture kind of like, Jim Carrey working for Wayne Enterprises, where he's smart and he's got all this stuff, and the higher ups just look at him. I could see Nick Fury looking at him like, oh, you're such a moron. Why do you even work here? And then, he proves himself though. Yeah.
Wow.
So let's talk about the main event here. Avengers Endgame. A trailer has released. Some people debate it's a teaser trailer, but it's either way, teaser trailer is here. What did we all think about this?
I liked it. I don't know. I guess the big thing was just getting the kind of title and just obviously we know it's already happening and coming out, but it was fun to just see something on it. It's pretty. I can see why people would see it more as a teaser. I mean, obviously there's no action shots really. It's more just kind of character based and just kind of setting it up at like the basic level. Obviously there's going to be bigger, more interesting trailers later, but that was totally fine with me because I think obviously we got so much in the first movie already that a lot of insane action scenes and things like this that I'm looking for more of a character study, break down these characters, maybe the end of a couple of them, so kind of send them out in an emotional way. But obviously it's also, we've heard it's potentially a very long movie, so there's obviously room for a lot. So I'm excited. I like the trailer. I love that scene with Tony. It looks pretty intense. I'm curious to see where that is in the movie exactly. And who knows what's going on with Cap and Black Widow. Maybe, hanging out with Ant-Man, who knows? Maybe they're going back in time, maybe they're not going back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye looks fucking badass. What is he doing? Why is there all these dead people around? What's up with that? Those people weren't snapped, they were clearly killed off. So yeah, and that kind of looked like the set piece from Doctor Strange, where they're fighting in that, and then Doctor Strange kind of reverses time and brings them back when they're fighting Mads Mikkelsen's character, the
Caecilius.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird. I wonder why they'd need to go back there. Maybe it's not that place, but that's what it kind of looked like to me. And then I guess Nebula's kind of just shows her. It doesn't really have any sort of scene with her necessarily. But
well, I think
is Rocket Raccoon's not in this trailer, is he?
No, he's not. But he survived that snap.
He
did.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few people like War Machine's not in the trailer. He survived the snap. So there's a few that they didn't have time to show and whatnot. So
more just the OG kind of crew. Quick scene of Bruce Banner as well. He doesn't really have any dialogue in here.
No, he's just depressed. People are dying.
Mm-hmm.
Steve and Natasha are next door getting it on.
I guess this also confirms that Yuri's her name, right?
Shuri.
Yeah. Shuri died or got taken out from the snaps as well. So yeah, I liked it. For like the first trailer of the movie, I was satisfied with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Few points. I don't think Steve and Natasha are gonna get on because Rocket's gonna be.
What?
He's gonna be there creating a ruckus and like yelling and talking shit to them.
No, wait. You think he's gonna be the whole movie just talking shit?
I would watch a whole movie of him.
I don't think
I know
Rocket
you would, and I would too. But do you think they're gonna do that in the end of the Avengers? They're killing off Tony and like Rocket's just laughing at him like you're fucking loser, Tony. Fucking loser.
No, but
at the end of Infinity War, Rocket was looking really sad when Groot went away. And remember that's Rocket.
Yeah, but he bounces back. He's lost Groot twice now. So.
But everyone, dude, this isn't a time to
He
laugh.
doesn't know everyone though.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Those other times,
died.
Groot like within hours was like, oh, he's coming back. This time there could be some time.
True, but he's got Thor that he bonded with, so.
Oh, yeah,
Thor doesn't.
So is that how friends work for you? If one dies, she's like, well, I got a new one, so I don't care about the
How many of us
half of it
anyway. No, but a few points I want to make. So I feel like this first trailer definitely was set up for the diehard fans waiting, anticipating, and just salivating for this trailer. That's what this trailer was for. This was not for your average, everyday, you just Joe Blow out in the street. This isn't the one that they're going to be putting like on regular cable TV. I feel like the next trailer they put out...
What trailers they put on regular cable? They call them TV spots.
TV spots, sure, there you go. I feel like the next trailer will be the one that's for the general audience and just the average movie theater go-tos and that sort of stuff. So that being said, this trailer was very moving and it was very basic and low, but not in a bad way whatsoever. Is exactly what we needed. I found it to be incredibly just moving, and just you feel so bad for Tony. You feel so bad for Captain America, implying like he's gonna probably kill himself if this plan doesn't work. Like,
the correct term is sacrifice himself. I don't think no,
because he said, because I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't. Okay. So I took that as he's just gonna kill himself because he can't.
Wow, how the fuck did you get that?
No,
that's so wrong.
I took it as he can't live with life if the plan doesn't work, and then he's just gonna kill himself because he doesn't have anything to live for.
What a dark way the movie would end. Just kept taking his own.
Well, we know it's not gonna go that way.
I definitely did not take that. I think he just meant that he doesn't know if he could emotionally recover and be as happy as he could, live the life he'd want. I don't think he meant like if this doesn't work, I'm offing myself. I don't think that's what I meant.
Well, then I'll also point out that I feel like we're gonna get some serious different like time jumps in here. Like how you said, Hawkeye being like Doctor Strangeland. I feel like Ant-Man is gonna definitely play.
Just Japan.
Ant-Man's gonna play a big role in that. I feel like I love how they focused on the two features that were not in Infinity War. They had a huge part of this trailer. The one thing I do want to talk about is what is the Ronin armor that Hawkeye is sporting? Because I tried looking into it. I don't fully understand like Echo and who that character is.
Well, it's his new. So it's a similar beat in the movies. It seems like. So what I assume, I say everyone assume that Hawkeye's family clearly got taken by the snap.
Yeah.
He's not looking good in that trailer. He's looking really depressed. There's rain, but he may be crying. He's just killing Yakuza all over, I would assume. So I think he's just a vigilante, just killing people. A similar thing happened in the comics where he left the Avengers and he went on his own, and he was a bit more of a violent vigilante. He rebranded himself as Ronin, which is like a samurai.
But after the events of the Gauntlet?
No, this was just a separate. He was just done with being the Avengers. I can't remember the exact point. I think it was a building thing of multiple things. Just like I'm done being Hawkeye. I don't want to be this guy.
The armor is supposed to keep him completely incognito. So is he? Why would he care about trying to hide his identity after the snap? Is it because he doesn't care? Because the government said he's on doing this probation mission under to get good terms to be this family and stuff. So why even after the snap should he care about his identity?
But I think you're taking a comic base you read somewhere of to hide his identity, right?
Well, that's what because he even pulls off a mask in the trailer.
No, he pulls off a hood. It's all different.
I thought it was
a
he pulls the mask off and then pulls the hood down. I thought.
Sometimes people just want to wear a mask. Why is Iron Man still wearing a mask?
But that was the whole basis of the armor.
But Taylor, it's not like a post-apocalyptic world. There's still half of everybody, right? It's not like everyone's just going looting houses and killing people in the streets, right? It's still there's still an established government and people, right?
True. I feel like
I still think you could see some of that though. Some people push back. So maybe at the beginning of the movie, being there was riots, people were looting and stealing, they got under control. Because if they do get under control,
but it's not like a Fallout situation where there's just
that'd be wild.
Super mutants walking around.
I don't know because
that's how it's gonna happen to me.
The armor because I didn't know that Hawkeye called himself Ronin. I thought the armor was called itself Ronin, and because somehow we got it from this other character who was I thought it was just about hiding your identity. That was what the power of the armor was.
I think the two things for you are one. I think Dylan's right where the government can be, the world's working, and at the end of the day, he still has to be under house arrest for a time being. So maybe he doesn't want to do that. And two, I think you're just taking too literal of him hiding. I think heroes just like to wear.
Read too much comics.
They just like to wear costumes, right? They like to wear outfits, and Captain America doesn't need that helmet. Everyone knows he's Steve Rogers, but he wears
the sword is a part of the Ronin armor then?
Well, it's a part of his rebranding look, yeah.
Okay, so what can you tell me about this Echo character in relation to Hawkeye?
I don't know much about Echo.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think
Is Echo a shown character?
He wore the armor first.
Yeah,
and then Hawkeye got it.
It's very... it was a very short-lived thing. It's not that it's not a badass thing, but it's not a huge thing to me. It's just like, because Hawkeye, more of his bigger stuff was either stuff with his family or stuff with his sidekick, like he eventually trains his daughter and stuff like that. So I just know Ronan he goes rogue, and he's just a bit more of a bad guy. Not a bad guy, but just more of a violent guy.
Do you see that sequence there of it being in the actual like timeline with everything else, or do you feel like when we get into that weird time travel-y part of this movie, because we know there's probably some janky stuff, do you think it could be like a parallel universe or something?
No, I think that's him now. I think he's lost his family and he's just taken to the streets and
taking it to the streets.
Not singing that
Strange
song
Town.
though. Yeah.
Doobie Brothers.
Strange. Yeah.
Strange Town. Other than that, I think, you know, it's pretty moving with Captain America having no beard now. I guess that got taken away in the snap too.
Just
Nope. He shaved.
Yeah, I'm just super excited to see, you know, the next trailer and what they're building towards. I think this was the perfect amount of not too much shown and just enough to have us still wondering but satisfy that itch we have. So a part of me honestly thought some crazy theory like, okay, what if the Iron Man or Tony Stark being on the ship, what if that was actually like the end of the movie and that's how he dies or something like that?
I don't think so. I don't think they'd show the ending like that, but you know, you could be right. You never know. They might pull a wild one on us.
I also do have to go back and watch the Infinity War trailers, because when you watch the Infinity War trailers, I feel like you can kind of see like an algorithm of how it was set up for like when you watch the actual movie, like how the whole narration of the second trailer was literally the whole intro of Infinity War with Thanos talking. So I'm kind of wondering if they'll do something similar to that again.
I don't know, because my thing that I find interesting about this is Thanos in this trailer, you just get the one shot, he's maybe growing some fruits, growing some weed, he's pulling a gladiator, he's just hanging out, he's won his battle, he doesn't need to do anything, and that's the thing that interests me, that I don't know, the next trailer you're definitely going to get Thanos, I think you're going to get that armor back, but in this case he's not, I don't feel like he's preparing to fight, he's done it, and in his way he imagines that there's probably not a way to fix it, right? So I feel like he's not on the offense or the defense at all. He's just hanging out. So I think there's a good chance some people just show up there and just really mess him up. Because, yeah, he's still Thanos. One, we don't know what the condition of that glove is. Because that glove was beat to crap.
Well, he wasn't wearing it on the hand, right? Because his hand
he
was
was in
like...
this trailer, yeah.
Oh, he was? Because
yeah,
I just thought it was his
walking
hand.
through his field.
It looked like it was just all bandaged up because of it after the snap.
No, it's a glove. But the glove's still damaged, so I don't know how much it can work, if it's faulty. So with him, I guess he'll be in the next trailer, but I think that's why it was good that he wasn't in this one, because he doesn't need to be. He's done everything, like he's kind of won, and that's my favorite thing about this trailer, that I guess, again, too, yeah, I do understand maybe some people why they're disappointed, but at the same time, I just don't, because I don't want any huge moments being revealed in this movie. Also, we're going to get a few in the next trailer. They got to sell that will be for the mainstream. But this movie doesn't need trailers. Really, they need to, because that's the way the world works. But really, they don't need it. That cliffhanger had everyone talking. Everyone was excited. This teaser is enough just to remind you that, hey, it's coming out April, at the end of April. Yeah, no, I loved it. I liked it because it was more about character moments. And it's the first time showing the characters that they've lost. They've lost a big battle. We've seen them in Avengers, Ultron, Civil War, yeah, but at the end of the day, they were all still alive. You know, there was a friendship breaking, but the rest of the people were still fine. Yeah, they were outlaws, but it wasn't as... That was something that eventually time would have worked itself out, and they could have probably come together and figure something out. With this, if you're just assuming that there was no way to fix it, and just half your friends or people or dogs or whatnot are dead, it's not looking good. So it's like, just seeing the shots of Thor looking bad, or Cap crying, like, they're all looking pretty down and out, so they're going to be very motivated. The Tony stuff is great. I'm interested to see the pairing of Nebula and Tony, because I assume Nebula's on that ship as well. I really do, because at one moment she puts her hand on someone's shoulder, and it's very same color scheme as Tony.
Yeah.
So whether she's with him from the beginning, or they split apart, maybe she saves him, but maybe she doesn't need food and stuff like that and oxygen, because she's kind of like half robot, right? So it's like, yeah, I can't really help you, Tony, so I'm just going to sit here and watch you die. But I'll make sure Pepper gets that helmet, you know. So.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, because they were in together at the end. I like that Tony in this trailer is just secluded. I'm very excited to see him and Cap back together. I hope they don't show that in the trailer. I hope they don't show any of the dead people come back. I hope they don't show any money. I don't want to see anything, but at the same point, it was exciting. I'm liking the Ronin stuff. The Ant-Man tag was really good, because it's like, they're just showing all this, darkness and depression, but then of course you got Scott Lang coming in there, and even though he's funny, it just seems like hope, like in that trailer. That's what I love. It's a mini like Goosebumps moment. Like, man, there might be a way. Like, he knows something, and how can he help? Now the question is, did he get out? Some people have said this is a Scott Lang maybe from the future traveling back in time. My favorite one is that he's actually a Skrull. I don't think that's gonna happen right now, but that would be fun if like Ant-Man is actually still just stuck in the paradox, and they just think, oh yeah, this is Hank Pym. That would be a perfect way to introduce a Skrull, because then it could be about getting him back. There's so many possibilities, and yeah, I think time travel is gonna be a big thing. But just that scene where they're just like, when's his message of the past? No, he's at the door right now, and some people have said that that's them in the future looking. I don't know. It's gonna get wild, but I don't know. I'm very excited to see. I wonder if there's time travel in this movie. If that's something they reveal in the trailers, or they say that till you're in the movie theater. I really don't know what they do with that one, because that could be a heavy thing to lay on like our parents or mainstream to come in and be like, we're time traveling all of a sudden with no preparation, because they're not. You know, you've had your hand up quite a bit. What do you got a question?
Why do you feel like in the trailer they showed Scott Lang dead on the screen, and then immediately after they show him back?
Well, because he was
they
missing.
just assumed dead.
Yeah, but why show that in the trailer for us to watch? I feel like they could have displayed any other character.
Well,
because it have some significance.
Because then I think were you expecting that end tag with him at the end of the trailer of him being like.
Well, I didn't know what to expect. But
I think
after
what
watching it
it's
just
saying is that
consistent.
it's like, hey, these characters think he's dead. Oh, he's here. Here he is.
Yeah.
But even without having, they could have changed his deceased on the screen to a different character, and we still would have got the same results.
No, but I mean,
because
like, what
that was for them, not us.
But that's, I think it's for.
It's like a reminder.
It's to show to Black Widow and Captain America. Why would Cap ask, "Oh, is this a message from the past?" Because they know he's dead, right?
They just assumed though.
But that's why I think they put it up there, so it's like they know, they're showing us that the characters know that character is possibly dead, right?
Like, that's probably like they're trying to formulate the plan. Okay, who do we have?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We got to hire any last person we can off the street who can help us. And he's clearly one of the people. So they've obviously at this point reached out to him, tried to find him. They couldn't reach him because he's in the quantum realm. Around.
It just seemed weird that they presented a problem like that in this 2-minute trailer and then immediately provided the solution at the same time in a trailer. Within the span of a few seconds, I just don't get it.
But I don't think that's a problem like from our perspective, right? Like, that's just a viewer. That's just like a problem that the characters are having in the movie, and it kind of just establishes like.
It still feels like a funny thing to just do in a trailer, though. I guess I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I can't say I relate. But.
Yeah. No. I'm trying to think. I'm very excited for Ronan, and the reason is because people sometimes give that farm scene in Avengers shit all the time, the Ultron one, but that's why I like it, because without that scene, you're not going to get the importance of why he might be a little bit darker. I don't know, he's going to have a bigger role. I think he's some person that could die just because he's Hawkeye, he's a human, and he's I think, expendable. But I think that'll be exciting. It's good seeing him and Nat together. I don't actually think Cap and Black Widow are a thing, but they're just always around, and that's been a debate after Infinity War, is what were they doing for those 2 years, and you know, there's been attraction there before. So
Bruce Banner is still kicking, so...
No, Bruce left her. He went to fucking
Yeah, but he came back.
He still left her, though.
Yeah, he came back, you know.
So if your girlfriend left you today, and then came back 2 years later, and you were with somebody else, you were
if
just...
my girlfriend was the Hulk, who... I know the Hulk has a different personality, and went to Sakaar, and was there for 2 years as the Hulk, and then came back.
Okay, but this is a different scenario. You have a new girlfriend now. Do you just dump that new girlfriend?
Why? Do you think that that Scarlett Johansson is dating
I'm
Captain
saying
America?
hypothetical. I did say I don't think that. I'm just saying people have debated that if that's a thing.
Well, sorry, because if I'm dating someone else and then I didn't have full closure, those feelings are still going to manifest there.
So
when
you're done with the new girlfriend.
She-Hulk ex-girlfriend comes back.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't say ex because I didn't really get to have to say the satisfaction of breaking up with them.
But then some people argue that Hulk does share some of the same emotions as Bruce Banner. So.
He's clearly a mentally disturbed type of individual. He's been known.
So you have an answer. Do you just dump the new girlfriend?
I'd hope that we could all three come to a compromise.
Hear that, Madison?
I can date you 3.5 days a week. I can date you 3.5.
You ready to compromise? I'm just gonna leave you and take him. Yeah, I'm excited.
No, you cannot come to it.
Any other thing you guys want to talk about this trailer? Any theories? Anything you want to show out?
In what level you mentioned it as Scott Lang, but in what other regard or level do you see the Skrull partaking in this film? If it's going to be heavily focused on the Avengers redeeming themselves against Thanos, I feel like the Skrull
I don't
will
think
be
he's
put on the
Skrull.
back burner.
No, I really do. I think Skrulls could be a fun end credit scene of we defeated Thanos and you see a character get kidnapped by the Skrulls. That's the way I want the Skrulls to be introduced. I don't want to be, oh, this character's been a Skrull for the past 5 movies. I want us in the know of, like, the next Avengers happen. And let's say it is Hawkeye. Let's say he has his family back, he's putting them all to bed, an alien's in his room, like, who are you? He shoots him, he takes over. Then the next Avengers, we know something's up with Hawkeye. Because then it doesn't feel like you've wasted... If you watch a whole movie with a regular Hawkeye and then it's revealed he's a Skrull, you might feel like, oh, next time I watch that movie, I don't care about this because...
It's kind of like when they did that Captain America thing where it's like, he's actually a Nazi the whole time.
Yeah. So it's like, it's tough. So I think it'd be an end credit scene, but I think it was a fun... Like, it's a fun theory. Like, someone could be right because that would be time to slip him in. You could easily just say that he's just stuck floating around and maybe when the other people come back from the snap, Janet so goes like, this isn't the real Scott, and the Avengers like, what are you talking about? And then Captain Marvel's like, well... Back in my day, there were these things called Skrulls, because it is peculiar that that movie is legitimately now only a month before, and Skrulls is a big part of it. So I don't know if it's going to have to do with the plot, but I could see some introductions, post-credit scenes, something like that. So, and still no Captain Marvel yet either. I wonder if you're not going to see her till after a movie.
After the
right?
movie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And yeah, I think we'll only get one more trailer, because episode 9 we got 2, and then this one we got 2. So, or the Infinity War we got 2. So I'm hoping it stays the 2. So, anything else on this?
Let's move on to the last one.
So, to talk about who we were just talking about...
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. Dylan, what do you think? Because you just watched the trailer.
I just watched the trailer.
Thoughts, yeah.
I didn't love it. I honestly, it looked a lot like just a kind of generic action movie. And that's not what I want to see, right? Like especially the last Marvel movies have been like pretty unique, or you know, there's some fun twist on them that makes it interesting. Whereas this just definitely gave off some kind of pretty bland vibes. Let's see. So she's there's a couple scenes of her in some sort of like other planet or some other place, like it's clearly some other planet with some big halls and stuff. And it reminded me a lot of Asgard, and I hate Asgard in the MCU.
I love that's your go-to.
Well, it looked exactly like that, just these big empty halls. My problem with Asgard in the MCU is that it lacks any sort of personality or character or any intrigue at all. Like even like in Black Panther, they don't spend a ton of time hanging out in Wakanda, I guess, but like even just in a couple scenes, it establishes like there's an interesting type of people here, and like it's very unique. In like a minute, it establishes that. Asgard had multiple movies of that, and it never was satisfying for me. So I really hope this place isn't just like generic place that Captain Marvel comes from, and I hope that if it's just like a scene that they're there, then whatever, it's fine. But if it's like a place that they're for like half this movie or even like 30% of this movie, then I hope that they give something to make it interesting, because yeah, it looked very generic, and that doesn't get me excited. As for the story hooks, like the first trailer, it posed that question of where does she come from? Is she from Earth? Is she just some alien? Like if she is some alien, why? What is her tie to Earth?
Yeah.
And I feel like this trailer just asked that question again in like slightly different wording. And it's like, wait, I just answered that question. I don't know why you're asking me that again. So yeah, there wasn't much there for me. We didn't get to talk about this on a cast, but they dropped the poster a few days before the trailer, or maybe it was the same day. And I, in the chat, was like, I'm not a fan of this poster. I don't like it. It looks like just poorly photoshopped. It looks like too much is going on. It doesn't look like it had enough hands to make sure it was like fully finished. It feels like kind of something they pushed out. There's kind of a scene in this trailer that is, where that poster is pulled from. Obviously, she kind of has the hair flying around. I thought the effects and magic that she has going on looked pretty good in the trailer. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't think the poster worried me necessarily that I wasn't going to like her powers in the movie or trailer, but it was maybe a tiny concern. So I guess the trailer reinforced that I'm fine with the CGI they have going on. It's a lot, and she's flying around in space. It looks pretty hectic, pretty intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this trailer didn't really do much more for me. I don't think I needed to see this. If I saw just the first trailer, I would probably still have pretty much the same view on what this movie's gonna be. But I don't know. It did look kind of generic, and some of the like little one-liners she had I wasn't really a fan of. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm worried about this movie just because of the quality that Marvel's been at for the last few movies. Like, it's been a real hot streak. So I'm not worried, and I don't even think another trailer that's... Even if there was another trailer that was even more similar to this one, like these first trailers have been, I don't think I'd still be worried. I kind of believe in Marvel right now. They have to prove me wrong before I change my view on how their movies are going. So yeah, but I can't say it boosted my excitement and all, and that's not what you want to hear.
Well, the grandma's getting punched again.
Yeah, she was smiling.
She got smashed. Her head smashed into a pole.
Yeah, just for smiling. Like, Jesus, what is this society coming to? So,
those scrolls, man.
This movie, just like you said, Dylan, it didn't feel the trailer didn't feel like it did any like it was just very generic. It didn't feel like it went over the top, really pulling anything, coming off as very unique. I took it that way, and I mean, that being said, I'm not saying like when Ant-Man first dropped their trailer, that's how I took it, but it gave me a feeling like not a sense of urgency to go see this in the theater, and I ended up not seeing Ant-Man in the theater, and I regret that decision. So since then, like, obviously I'm gonna give this a try and go see it in theater, obviously, because it's Marvel, and I just, I'm not gonna I know I'm not gonna make that mistake again, because there's just this movie could totally just flip right around and just totally surprise me. But that being said, she reminds me of Thor, and I pitched that to you in the group chat, and it pissed Kirkland off for some reason.
Looks like Thor.
No, yeah, like
no, you can't say some reason. Kirkland specifically stated why he didn't like your use of English. But
Jesus.
His English.
But I looked at her as like the parallel equivalent to Thor, like power wise.
In terms of strength. Okay.
In strength, yeah, and I like Thor as a character. It took me a good few movies to actually start to really like him, and now I feel like I really he wasn't my favorite after watching Thor 1 or Thor Dark World.
I cannot blame you.
I swear you said Thor was like one of your favorite MCU movies. The first Thor before Ragnarok came out.
At the time, I have to relook at that ranking.
But then
I think I rated Thor
then it still
low.
took a while for Thor to be like.
Well, to really like him, because honestly, out of all the characters in the MCU, like where Thor is now, I easily could put him as maybe one of my favorites. Okay. Just because
that was that way you worded that. Just no content to it. It was just so loose.
Called you out.
Again, it was so non-committal.
I just find now, after his whole journey and to achieve this like ultimate power and like insane like strength that he has, being like a super powerful OP character, I really like it. I feel like how he attained it and this whole journey he's gone through has really been well deserved and rewarding for like someone to like a viewer to watch and appreciate. With Captain Marvel, I'm trying to tell myself that it'll be kind of the same thing, and they'll give her a good kind of explanation layout as she's trying to find her identity and acquire and get like more strength and power to like match the power that Thor obviously attained throughout his journey. But I feel like they've just shown her as being completely overpowered, going through the whole like space fleet, just blowing up all these massive ships, and I just hope that it's just not her thrown in this environment and that's just what she does, because I like how not just Thor but all these superheroes go through these their films slowly upgrading and becoming stronger. Like we go from like Captain America being this scrawny guy to being muscular, and even then in Winter Soldier he's just even more stronger. In Civil War he's holding the helicopter back down. Like they're just escalating. It's not jumping right to Captain America being super OP, literally punching Thanos and holding his fist. It's building up to those moments of strength, and I want that in Marvel.
Thanos in the first Avengers.
He fucking had the strength to try, and that takes a lot.
So I just hope they build up to that kind of thing, because I just don't want her to just drop in OP, fuck y'all, and just fly out. So
y'all, the one after.
I think you make some good points there, and you're definitely right. For those main cast and crew of the Avengers, like they definitely take the time, like, 'cause like they don't get the time for Hawkeye to build up, but like he's not really all that powerful relative to the other people, right? But yeah, Iron Man obviously as well, like getting new suits throughout, constantly upgrading his gear. Yeah, you make good points there, David.
Yeah, no, like I don't have too much to talk about the trailer reaction. These guys hit it on the head. It's kind of basic, a little generic. I'm hoping the movie's not going to be that, and if it's not, I don't understand what they're holding back in the trailers. It's just strange, the stuff that I said on the reaction, that Jude Law's in this movie, but he's only in a few scenes in these trailers. And Ronan...
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see him.
Ronan is in this movie, but we've yet to see, like, a face shot of him. We just see him from behind or stuff like that. And I just feel like Ronan from the Guardians is a good thing to have.
Yeah, I forgot he's in it.
Yeah, like I feel like there's all this stuff, and maybe that means they're in it smaller, or maybe they want big surprises. But you've announced these things, so showing Ronan's face is not going to surprise me that much unless like his face is like I don't know, they recast and would I don't know. Ben Affleck. It's like, oh, Ben Affleck's now Ronan. You know, like unless they have some huge thing, which they don't. So I don't understand. My perspective on this trailer is I'm wondering how it's gonna go. I think it's gonna make money wise because they've done a good job of making it almost like homework you have to see before Avengers 4 and Endgame.
Sure.
But I feel like this right now has the least amount of hype as Ant-Man did. Because I remember at Kyle didn't see it in theaters. Me and Dylan did the review because no one else on the cast saw it in theaters, and that was rare back then. So for me, it's just it does not have that hype going in, and I thought this trailer was gonna do that. It didn't do that, so I hope they're gonna definitely do one more trailer. I hope that really brings it. I think the movie will be good, but I'm gonna be interested to see the next few weeks. And also too is just that people are just that excited for Endgame that they just don't really care about Captain Marvel. They don't want to learn about a new character because they're so caught up with the characters they already love. At first, it was always felt like a good idea to introduce her right before, but maybe in retrospect, it might turn out as a bad idea because people will be like, like, I just want to know what happens to Iron Man and Cap. I'll get back to her when I'll go check this on Netflix once I've seen it. But
Sure.
and enough people I think can watch Captain Marvel or not watch Captain Marvel and still understand, oh, she's some powerful character in the universe, right? And the other thing is, I'm surprised that now that Avengers in April, this is the closest movies have been back to back. I know it's probably because it wasn't ready, but unlike Ragnarok last year, they didn't have any movie in November, and I thought Marvel could have been a good time to have her in November because it's March, and then right after is Endgame. So that's really close, really back to back, which is very surprising for me. So I don't know. I got my fingers crossed. Yeah, Marvel puts up quality, so I'm not gonna doubt them until they really drop the ball or shit the bed. But this definitely, I feel like the hype is not there, and I feel like same thing online. The trailers have been like everyone's like, okay, this poster.
How closely do you think this movie is gonna lead into Infinity War? Like, do you think this movie is gonna end with some snap?
An end credit?
Snap as
No,
well?
I think you'll get an end credit thing, but I don't think if you think it's gonna tie into big time and then like dropping Thanos and her being all this like, oh, I'll come back to Earth at some point. I think you'll get 1-2 end credit scenes that'll tie that, but I think this will be very much like Black Panther's movie, where Black Panther had nothing to do with the Avengers, right? It was just him and his world in Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's different because there was no like big event, but I think it'll be like that where we'll have nothing to do with much big things other than your Ronins, your Nick Furies. So I think your end credits will tie, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. When I was reading into like Hawkeye wearing Ronin's armor, I was like, how did Hawkeye
You're
get
obsessed
Ronin's armor?
with Ronin's
because
armor.
Ronin died on Nova Prime. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking, how the hell did he go there and get it? And I was looking at it like, oh, it's spelled differently. N-A-N and M-I-N.
Yeah.
Just a cool sounding name.
Yeah.
Reuse it as much as
apparently.
you can. Rename Iron Man to Ronin Man.
Ronin Man. Recycle it.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
I thought I had something.
You have something, Taylor. What is it?
Oh shit. What is it?
You okay?
I don't got it. I can't remember. It'll come to me in like a few weeks. So.
A few weeks.
Okay. Well, I'm cutting you
It's
off
clearly
there.
important.
I'm just dropping the links right now. They're all in the description. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Have a marvelous
No,
day.
I don't know. I forgot my own catchphrase. Well, I was trying to think what's next week. Next week is Spider-Verse review.
Right.
Me and Dylan have already recorded that. The
You
spoilers.
check out our
review.
spoiler free.
Yeah, check that one out. But next week will be spoilers for the actual spoilers. So and there'll be a Spider-Man retro dropping as well. So thank you very much. Until then, I'll not be boring.
Bye now.